Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to East Texas Today on KETK Plus. I hope that you guys are having a great Thursday morning as I am having. I'm going to go ahead and just jump us right into the show. On Wednesday night, President Donald Trump held a primetime conference to discuss the U.S. economy after many Americans claimed that he is not doing enough to lower prices on items such as groceries. Washington correspondent Vinay Simlot has more on this topic. Let's go ahead and bring this up.
The president spoke at length about the economy as polls show Americans don't think he's doing enough to lower prices.
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it.
As 2025 draws to a close, President Donald Trump delivered a message focused on the economy, starting by blaming former President Joe Biden for leaving him a bad one.
This happened during a Democrat administration.
The rare primetime address comes as an AP poll shows 68% of respondents believe the economy is poor, and 87% say they've noticed higher grocery prices over the past few months.
I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast.
The president called out what he sees as victories at the border and with crime.
We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities.
And he touched on what's seen as his signature economic policy, tariffs.
Liberation Day.
Some economists say it raises prices, and on Wednesday night, the president announced soldiers will share in the new revenue from taxes on imports.
In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that. And the checks are already on the way.
But ahead of the speech, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said now is not the time for a victory lap.
Grocery bills haven't gone down. Electricity costs haven't gone down. Housing costs haven't gone down.
Notably, the president did not mention Venezuela once during the address after the military announced another boat strike on Wednesday, and President Trump announced a blockade of sanctioned oil into Venezuela. He's called on the dictator Nicolas Maduro to step down. In Washington, I'm Vinay Simlot. Back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Vinay, for summing that up for us. I know that he had a big live press conference last night. I'm sure that a lot of you tuned in, and we actually had that live here on KETK Plus, so I hope that you all enjoyed it if you had a chance to tune in and watch it. And for our next story, a collision occurred between a vehicle and an 18-wheeler that was transporting wood near Lindale on Wednesday morning. According to Smith County ESD2, the incident happened on Interstate 20 at mile marker 560, just outside of Lindale around 10 a.m. The driver of the 18-wheeler was trapped inside the vehicle after it was turned on its top side. At one point, both lanes of traffic were stopped as officials attempted to extract the driver from the vehicle. Around 2 hours after the incident, firefighters were able to pull the driver out and take them to a hospital, according to Smith County ESD2 Assistant Chief J.D. Smith. At this time, it is unconfirmed what caused the crash initially. All right, and one of the candidates running for county clerk is up in the upcoming Smith County Republican Party primary election has been removed from the ballot after she lacked the required signatures needed to be eligible. On December 8th, Terry Merrow filed her application and petitions to challenge the incumbent Karen Phillips for the county clerk spot. In lieu of paying the $750 filing fee, Morrow obtained 500 signatures, and her application was accepted on December 11th. Phillips also submitted her application for re-election on November 8th, which was the first day of the candidate filing. She also received 500 signatures required to appear on the ballot, and her application was approved on November 14th. While the county chair is required to verify the total number of signatures, they are not required to confirm the validity of each signature unless challenged by an opponent. Due to Merrow's decision to obtain signatures, Phillips informed David Stein, the chairman of the Smith County Republican Party, that she would challenge the validity of the signatures Merrow had obtained. During the review of Merrow's signatures, it was revealed that there was several significant errors, including missing printed names, incorrect dates of birth, and a missing or incomplete affidavit of curricular statement of intent. Because of the errors discovered, 139 signatures were declared invalid, leaving Moreau short of the required 500 to run. Moreau was later declared ineligible, and she was not certified to be on the ballot. Stein said, quote, "The job of the party chairman is to conduct this process under the requirements of the law, and while difficult for both candidates, I appreciate the professionalism through this process." Now, if there are any updates in that story, I'm sure that we'll be able to keep you updated as they come in. And a Brownsboro elementary school teacher has pleaded guilty to and received 8 years of probation of deferred adjunction probation after injuring a child in 2024. Let's go ahead and bring up a picture of them real quick. Kyle Lee Rocha of Chandler was arrested on September 24th, 2024, in connection with an incident that occurred earlier that month in a Chandler Elementary School behavioral classroom. An affidavit describes the incident as captured on classroom footage, which showed Rocha picking up paperwork from the floor and placing the papers on the student's desk, instructing the student to keep the pages on his desk. The student was reportedly seen throwing the paperwork into a closed basket on his desk and tilting the desk several times as Rocha stood in front of him. Footage reportedly showed the student rocking his desk backward, tilting the front of the desk up, and Rocha allegedly, quote, placed both of his hands onto the front of the desk and pushed the desk backwards, purposefully causing the desk to fall over, and the student to fall, hitting the back of his head and elbows against the desk behind him. The elementary school student is then seen on video, quote, holding both of his elbows close to his body, screaming and crying, end quote. Authorities received photographs that showed injuries to the child, including redness and a knot on the back of the student's skull. Both elbows showed 2 small red marks or cuts with redness and bruising. Rocha's attorney, Matt Misselage, confirmed with KETK News that he was sentenced on Monday to 8 years of deferred adjudication probation. This is a type of probation that could erase the conviction from their record altogether if the defendant is successful in completing their probation requirements. Now, if you would like to check out the full article on that story, you can go ahead and scan this QR code on your screen, and that will bring you to our homepage at KETK.com, where you can read all these stories as well. All right, everyone, and then in our next story, I know that we have covered this missing person in Smith County before, but as far as we know, they have still not been found, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up their information just so that way we have a better chance of finding them. Smith County authorities are seeking help locating a 21-year-old woman who went missing last week. Let's go ahead and bring up her picture. Marie De Leon, age 21, was last seen walking on County Road 376 on December 11th. She is described as a Hispanic female at 5 feet 2 inches tall and 175 pounds, with black shoulder-length wavy hair and brown eyes. De Leon was reportedly wearing a black beanie, black sweater, dark blue jeans, and black tennis shoes. She has a blue tattoo on her left hand that reads, quote, "Only God could judge me," end quote. De Leon's family noted that she is diagnosed with bipolar disorder, ADHD, and PTSD, but that she had been off her medication for more than a year. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to contact the Smith County Sheriff's Office at 903-566-6600. Once again, that is 903-566-6600. All right, everyone. Well, it is time to take our first break of our morning show. I hope that you guys are having a great Thursday morning. I appreciate everyone who tunes in to these shows on a daily basis. And for our new viewers, welcome to East Texas today. It is so great to have you here, and I will see you all after the break. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome to East Texas Today on KTK Plus. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem, and I'm so glad to have another show for you all on this lovely morning. Now, the weekend is almost here, so I hope that you guys are getting ready to watch some great high school football as well. I know we have a couple East Texas teams. We have one playing today at around 11 a.m., but I'll talk about more on that later on in the show. And then we have another one on Friday as well. And if you aren't watching football, I hope that you just have a great weekend because it's going to be the last weekend right before Christmas. So I hope that you can enjoy it and get that great time with your family. And while many people are taking time off for the holidays to visit with their family, workers at the Lindale Mail House are processing hundreds of packages to meet deadlines. KTK's Ella Mitchell paid a visit to a local mailroom to get a first-hand look at this shipping process.
The Lindale Mail House is processing hundreds of packages a day.
Peak season, there's hundreds, thousands more boxes going than usual on a daily basis.
Employees working behind the scenes, handling returns, packing, and shipping for FedEx and UPS. Instead of taking time off on the holidays, it's all hands on deck.
We're all here, all hands on deck.
As the shipping rush peaks, the mail house is asking for your patience.
It's peak season, so you can't expect everything to run as it does, in the middle of July when not everybody's ordering stuff or shipping stuff. So timeliness is a huge thing.
But delays happen.
You got to remember too that it's not just the weather that's happening here. If you're sending something to Wyoming, you got to consider the weather between here and Wyoming. They may be not getting snowed in up there, but in Colorado that it has to go through on the way there, there's snow, so it's going to delay things.
Sheriff says any packages sent out on Wednesday still have a chance to arrive by the 25th.
To get it by Christmas, anything you do right now is kind of pushing it.
Otherwise, you will need to pay for faster shipping. Ella Mitchell, KTK News.
Well, thank you so much, Ella, for bringing us that great story. And now it is sad to see that some of those people would not be able to visit their family for the holidays, but it is great to recognize them for all their hard work that they do day in and day out. We really appreciate you. The city of Overton received a $49,750 invoice on Wednesday to fix the vandalism caused by a 1,000-foot, 10-inch water line pipe planned to be placed under Rabbit Creek on East Humbleway Street. Give me 1 second, y'all, as we pull this up. The project to install the water lines has been approved by the Overton Municipal Development District back in August, but progress halted after the pipe was vandalized in October. The city of Overton said, quote, "This is very unfortunate for the city and the individual who vandalized the city property and prolonged the job. The case has been filed with the Rusk County District Attorney's Office and is currently pending grand jury for indictment," end quote. The cost will include the removal of the damaged pipe and the placement and testing of the new pipe. In October, city officials said that the Rabbit Creek 10-inch line project was initially funded by residents. A police report was submitted in October identifying a suspect and seeking a warrant for their arrest. However, the city has not released any updates regarding any arrests that have been made. Now, as far as we know, the identity of that person who vandalized that pipe has not been revealed yet to the public, but if we do get an identity, we'll make sure to update this story and share that all to you all watching at home. And we're going to move over to the city of Texarkana, which is adding a tourism-friendly Texas certified to its list of accolades, as designated by Governor Greg Abbott on Wednesday. Abbott said, quote, "Tourism is critical to both our local and state economies. Travelers and within Texas generate almost $200 billion in annual economic impact and support 1.3 million jobs across the state. I congratulate the city of Texarkana and visit Texarkana on earning this designation," end quote. Travel Texas recognizes Visit Texarkana for its continual development of tourism as an economic growth strategy, boosting job creation and drawing visitors from across the nation and around the world. Texarkana Mayor Bob Bruggeman said, quote, "Texarkana is proud to be recognized as a tourism-friendly Texas certified community. This honor underscores the importance of tourism in driving our local economy and strengthening the regional partnerships that make our city thrive. We look forward to continuing our efforts to showcase Texarkana's welcoming spirit and the many opportunities that make it a great place to live, work, and visit, end quote. Texarkana joins Kilgore, Nacogdoches, Tyler, and more than 50 other Texas communities as tourism-friendly certified. In July, Texarkana was named a Film-Friendly Texas certified community, one of 18 designations in East Texas. Abbott said, quote, "We look forward to continuing our efforts to showcase Texarkana's welcoming spirit and the many opportunities that make it a great place to live, work, and visit. Local governments and nonprofit organizations that lead their community's tourism efforts are eligible to enroll in the Tourism-Friendly Texas Certified Community Program beginning January 5th, 2026. Now, if you want to learn more about that, you can also visit the Texarkana website, and it is so great to see our East Texas communities become more certified in areas that you wouldn't expect, but they have a huge impact on travel and visitation from other communities as well. So that makes it a great travel site and boosting all the economy, as we just mentioned. So great job to Texarkana, and we love to see you thriving. And for our next story, the holidays will be here next week, and while everyone scrambles to prepare just ahead of Christmas, the American Red Cross is promoting holiday safety tips to help protect you and your loved ones. KETK's Rachel Davis has more on this story.
Manager at Hughes Plant Life, Gray Blevins, has helped thousands of people find their perfect tree.
So we've seen probably close to 1,500 to 2,000 live cut Christmas trees come through here.
Along with all the excitement and beauty a live Christmas tree can add to your home, if not cared for properly, it can become a major fire hazard.
Fires, accidental turnovers, anything like that could happen if you're not careful in the home.
But there are a few simple things you can do to reduce the risk.
Put them in corners or places where they're not easily knocked over, whether it's kids, pets, accidents. Try to avoid fireplaces, heaters, anything that may tend to dry your tree out.
And once you have lights on your Christmas tree, you can use a surge protector to plug your lights into it. And what this does is it regulates the flow of electricity.
So if you have multiple wires coming from your tree, make sure that that is plugged into a surge protector that is not tucked under your Christmas tree skirt.
But before you string those lights, make sure you have fresh batteries in all of your smoke detectors. And
if you don't, the American Red Cross can provide those free of charge and come do installation for you.
So if a fire starts, you can be immediately notified.
We want everyone to enjoy their Christmas holidays, but we also know, again, this is high fire risk time.
Blevins wants to remind homeowners to always unplug your lights before you go to bed, but his best piece of advice:
make sure you're getting that stuff unplugged is the safest, or at least turned off,
so you can focus and enjoy the Christmas season without the fear of flames. Rachel Davis, KETK News.
Did you hear that?
Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing all of those tips with us, and I really appreciate you bringing in that information, as it can be, the holidays are a great time, but they can be a dangerous time as well. And moving on to our next story, students from Grapeland Independent School District secured the school's first ever FFA Quiz State Championship. Outscoring every school district in Texas, they achieved this remarkable victory by taking a challenging 150-question exam. On Tuesday, I sat down with two students from the FFA program to learn more about the senior quiz and how their hard work paid off in the school's success. Let's go ahead and check out this full interview. Hello everyone, thank you for watching KETK Plus. I'm your host Tristan Van Beem, and today I'm bringing you all an amazing story out of Grapeland ISD as the Sandy's FFA program brought home the 2025 Texas FFA State Senior Quiz Championship. With me here today are two of those FFA students who are going to explain this championship to us and what it means for their school. With me today is Cooper and Steven from that program. How are you guys doing today?
Great. Doing well.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming onto the show. I really appreciate it. And to start this off, Cooper, can you tell me what the State Senior Quiz Championship is for FFA and what it means for this program?
So, the State Senior Quiz Championship and what it means to our program is truly amazing because our program has been around for years, but we've never actually had a team win a state LDE championship until us. And it truly shows the dedication that not only we give to this contest, but also our ag teachers, our family, community, and school.
Okay, and then I also heard that the state championship wasn't just based on division or school size. You guys came out as one of the best FFA programs in the state of Texas. Can you describe to me how that feels?
It was complete euphoria knowing that 4 years of hard work going into quiz came out on top with the state championship victory. So it was a well-awaited victory, and we were all very excited.
Awesome. And then can you guys just explain to me what the senior quiz is? Like, what does that process look like, and how does the competition actually fold out?
So, this contest consists of teams of 3 to 4 members get taking a 150 question exam over 5 different books, including the National FFA Manual, the Texas FFA Leadership Guide, the Parliamentary Procedures for FFA book, U.S. and Texas Farm Facts, and current ag issues and briefs. And students are tested on their knowledge over these books and how well they can recall information retained during studying.
All right, and then can you both explain to me just your individual accomplishments that you obtained at this competition? What did you guys both win individually? And we can start with Stephen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So obviously it's a team event composed of 3 to 4 members, but they also have individual recognition. I was grateful to have the opportunity to be the individual state champion overall. And Cooper would like to share a little bit about his.
So at the state level, I placed 5th place, and I'm so grateful because it's been better for me every single year since we started.
All right, and then Cooper, how long have you been in FFA, and then also Stephen as well? How long have you both been an FFA student?
I've been in FFA since my 8th grade year, which is around 2022.
Same here. I've been in FFA since my 8th grade year, and being a senior, I've been in for 5 years since my first agriculture class.
Okay, and then are you both seniors, or when are you at a different?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior?
And I'm a junior.
And you're a junior? Okay, awesome. All right, and then what got you both interested in FFA and wanting to do that? We can start out with Stephen as well.
Absolutely. So I first joined FFA during my first Principles of Agriculture class when my ag advisor was looking for slots for our senior quiz team. In fact, senior quiz team was actually the first leadership development event that I competed through FFA. And so it was actually serving on the same team now that I did 5 years ago that first got me into the Future Farmers of America.
Awesome. And then Cooper, what about you?
So my siblings had been in FFA members, and so the blue corduroy jacket was something that I had come to know even before I was in 8th grade. But it truly came to me when I was sitting in my first ag class, and my ag teacher got us working on some parliamentary procedure, and I realized that I actually really liked doing this, and I asked her for some opportunities that I could participate in, and from there on, I just joined the quiz team, and it's all history from there.
Now, when we spoke off camera, I believe that your parents told me about Green Hands Camp, if that is the correct word. Cooper, could you kind of tell me about Green Hands Camp and what you guys do for that?
So Green Hand Camp is hosted by our area every year in Nacogdoches, and we invite Green Hands, which are 8th grade and 9th grade members, to come from each of the 4 districts together and learn about new opportunities that they have for them as they progress on in their FFA journeys. Now, for me and Steven, he's an area officer and I'm a district officer, meaning we serve our both respective levels of the organization. And we had the privilege and the honor of hosting workshops and helping other kids learn the opportunities, as I said, in this FFA organization.
That is absolutely amazing. And Stephen, could you tell me what you want to do with your FFA knowledge and experience after you graduate?
Absolutely. So a common misconception that people think about whenever they join FFA, obviously it being Future Farmers of America, is that it can only really be tailored towards ag careers. And while FFA is an all-inclusive organization, as it applies to over 360 careers in agriculture and agricultural education, one of the great things about FFA is that it equips students with knowledge and skills to succeed later in life. A lot of the public speaking abilities, collaborative skills, and other teamworking skills that you learn in FFA can easily be applied to a variety of careers. Me personally, wanting to be a young musician and as a trumpet player, it'll best equip me with the abilities to work with other musicians in the industry and throughout the world.
All right, and then Cooper, I know that you're still a junior, but what do you plan on doing with your FFA knowledge after you graduate?
I plan on taking my FFA knowledge and getting a degree in ag education so that I can share this knowledge with future generations of agriculturists and people who will go on to be the future of American agriculture.
Okay, and then is there anything else that either of you would like to say as like a lasting message for those watching at home, just about FFA, about the competition, or just anything in general?
The FFA truly isn't one size fits all. It's for everyone. And that is a true testament when you just see our quiz team, because we come from all different walks of life and we've all come together and achieved this amazing thing. And we just also want to thank everyone and extend our gratitude to everyone who's reached out and congratulated us on this big achievement. It truly means so much.
All right, then, Stephen, is there any lasting message that you would like to say for the viewers watching at home?
Absolutely. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody watching back home. Thank you to our mentor, Miss Atlanta Watson, without which this would not be possible. Thank you to all our wonderful teammates who put in countless hours and time into studying for the quiz event. And thank you for all that have supported us in this 4-year journey.
All right, well, there you have it. There are those two students from Grapeland who won that amazing competition. So feel free to congratulate them at home. You know, maybe hit up the Grapeland FFA on Facebook and just congratulate that team who won their first championship after so long of being an established program. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem. Thank you all so much for watching KETK Plus, and I will see you all next time. Now, that is just an absolutely amazing story. I had such a great time doing the interview with Cooper and Stephen as well. If you want to check out the full interview, you can go to our YouTube page. You can go to YouTube, search up KETK, and then once you click on the homepage, you can go to our playlist section. It's going to be on KETK Plus Originals, and it'll be one of the most recent videos on there as well. So once again, go to YouTube, search up KETK, and then once you go to our page, find the playlist section, and then click on KETK Plus Originals, and you'll be able to find that full interview as well if you want to watch it again. Now, it's time to head into another break, but when we come back, we are going to talk about an East Texas doctor who was able to share a timeline for Patrick Mahomes' ACL tear that he endured a last game versus the Chargers, but more on that when we come back from the break. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from the break. Now, as I mentioned right before we went into that break, an East Texas doctor shares a possible timeline for Patrick Mahomes after a successful knee surgery on Monday. After managing to stay free of long-term injuries during his NFL career, former White House Wildcat and 3-time Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes suffered a torn ACL and LCL on Sunday afternoon. KETK's Ashlyn Anderson has more on the story and his path to recovery.
After managing to stay away from long-term injuries during his NFL career, it was determined Patrick Mahomes has a torn ACL and LCL. Mahomes was placed on the injury reserve list after the injury. With 2 minutes left in the game, he was scrambling to his right and his left knee buckled, sending him to the ground in obvious pain. After his successful surgery on Monday, the team reports that he will begin his recovery immediately. Dr. Jayesh Patel with UT Health says surgery normally doesn't happen the day after a ligament is torn, but could be a good sign towards his recovery timeline.
Most of the time, people are getting their ACL done 7 to 21 days after the injury, but the key that we found out is the knee's got to have minimal swelling, and you've got to have good motion.
The Chiefs have been eliminated from the playoffs for the first time in the Mahomes era. Mahomes saying on social media, quote, "Thank you, Chiefs Kingdom, for always supporting me and for everyone who has reached out and sent prayers. I will be back, stronger than ever," end quote. Former edge rusher Micah Parsons is back home in Dallas, and his team reports he has not had surgery yet. In Tyler, Ashlyn Anderson, KETK News.
Well, thank you, Ashton, for bringing us your coverage on that story. It's actually very interesting to learn how ACL injuries work as well. And if you want to learn more information on that, I'm sure that you can find great sources through, UT Tyler or any other Christus Health as well, or any other medical sources that are around here in our East Texas area. And 2 East Texas politicians received recognition this week for their continued dedication to the counties they represent. Let's go ahead and bring up this awesome picture of them receiving their awards. State Representative Cole Hefner of Mount Pleasant was presented with the Courage Award by State Armor, which was founded to help protect the country from global security threats. Additionally, East Texas State Senator Brian Hughes of Mineola was named Lawmaker of the Year from State Armor. The title was given to Hughes in recognition of the significant legislative work he has accomplished this year. Congressman Nathaniel Moran praised both politicians for what they have accomplished this year, including preventing the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, from infiltrating school districts, agriculture, and local government. Moran saying, quote, "We can effectively tackle the CCP's threats when all levels of government work together. I am grateful for the East Texas leadership." It is great to see those East Texas politicians get that recognition as well. We're going to go ahead and head into another break, but when we come back, we're going to take a look at a full interview about a bird flu case that was discovered in Shelby County earlier this week, but more on that after the break. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back from the break. Recently, the first case of bird flu in 2025 was discovered in Shelby County and was confirmed by the Texas A&M Veterinary Medical Diagnostics Laboratory. On Tuesday, I spoke with the Deputy Director for the Texas Animal Health Commission to find out what bird flu is and what effect it could have on the East Texas environment. Let's go ahead and bring up that full interview. It is about 11 minutes or so, so if you guys want to take some notes, sit back, relax, just get that pen and paper ready, and enjoy the interview. Hello everyone, thank you for watching KETK Plus. I'm your host Tristan Van Beem, and today we are discussing the recent case of highly pathogenic bird flu, also known as avian influenza, that was recently discovered in Shelby County. The case was confirmed by the Texas A&M Veterinary Medical Diagnostic Laboratory, and here with me today is Deputy Executive Director for the Texas Animal Health Commission, Dr. T.R. Lansford, who will explain what bird flu is and what the illness means for agriculture in Texas and East Texas as well. Dr. Lansford, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Tristan, for the opportunity to join you today to visit about this.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And to start us off, can you explain what bird flu or avian influenza is and how it spreads?
Absolutely. Bird flu or avian influenza is a viral disease of birds. It's an influenza virus, so it's similar to what we know as flu in people and other animals. So it's an influenza virus that specifically tends to impact birds, and so certainly the way this typically works with for domestic poultry is that the virus will circulate in wild birds, especially waterfowl, and then goes across into and infects domestic poultry such as chickens and turkeys. And so one of the ways that that happens is exposure from waterfowl to the domestic birds themselves. But there's also other ways where that virus can contaminate things that are put into a poultry facility. That's why biosecurity is something that is certainly stressed and practiced at a high degree by the poultry industry, is to try to prevent outbreaks of high path avian influenza.
Could you explain how it can be transferred in those poultry situations? Like, is it if a bird just comes into contact with something else in the poultry system? How does that work?
So that the virus itself can certainly spread bird to bird with direct contact, but the virus can also affect things that go into a chicken house. And so, for example, the one way the virus is carried is through feces. And so fecal contamination moving from sets of birds, an infected set of birds to an uninfected set of birds where you get exposure can certainly lead to that. But it can also be carried by other things we call fomites, such as feed and equipment that move that virus from the environment or an infected area into an uninfected area.
And then what effects does this illness have on birds that do come in contact with it? What are some of those symptoms that we're going to see from them?
Absolutely. Clinical signs for avian and flu. A lot of times this will present as a respiratory illness where there's coughing and sneezing and nasal discharge. In some cases, in layer birds, you'll see a decrease in egg production that might be an indicator. Other things that kind of clue in is in these large facilities will be an uptick in the number of mortalities, and so those are kind of the parts that the poultry industry themselves monitor for signs of any kind of illness, but certainly concerns with high path avian influenza.
Now, this can spread pretty rapidly through birds, but does it pose any sort of risk to humans? Can humans really be affected by this type of flu?
So certainly, any of the influenzas have the potential to affect other species. At this point in time, there have not been any widespread cases of this particular high path avian influenza moving into the human population. And so, certainly from a public safety standpoint, anytime we're dealing with a potential zoonotic disease, folks that are exposed to known infected birds should practice some basic biosecurity and use gloves or at least wash their hands, but after handling animals and the same things you would every day, right? So to protect yourself from being exposed to a disease. But no, this is not a potential or a known. It is a potential, but it is not a known human health risk at this point in time.
Okay, well, at least that's good to know. So at least the humans are safe. So we don't want any chickens or birds.
Absolutely.
That means that we can be all right. And I've hardly ever hear of cases of bird flu in Texas or just the East Texas area. How common are these kind of cases throughout our state?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So the current national outbreak has been going for a number of years at this point, and so certainly here in Texas we have been pretty fortunate, and that's a testament to the great job that our commercial poultry industry does. In the last several years since this has started, we've had actually two affected commercial flocks in the state of Texas. The current one that we're working with, and then one back in 2024 up in the Texas Panhandle. And so, in addition to those, we've had 15 backyard flocks that were impacted and infected with avian influenza. In terms of how common is this in our domestic birds, it's not very common, fortunately, in Texas, but there are a number of cases and investigations that are done associated with wildlife or wild birds that Parks and Wildlife and Wildlife Services with USDA work on.
Now, I like that you brought up the topic of domestic birds. For those who either own a pet bird or they may have like some chickens on a farm or something like that, how can people with these kind of pets protect their pets from contracting the bird flu?
Absolutely. Another great question, and certainly something everybody with small flocks or even medium-sized flocks, or any one flock or a bird of a flock of one.
Mhm.
The way you do that is through biosecurity. Minimizing potential exposure to waterfowl. Again, those are the carriers of this virus in the environment, and so exposing or preventing exposure to waterfowl and doing things to prevent waterfowl from being attracted to the same areas that you've got your domestic birds in is probably step number one. Step number two, also associated with biosecurity, is practicing good hygiene going into your facility and coming out. So, doing the things to don't share equipment and don't with other flocks or between flocks. Change your shoes or use shoe covers. Change your clothes. Do anything you can to just prevent carrying the virus into and taking it away from an area and into another area. So biosecurity is the answer.
And then, so for those who might not know, what is the difference between a domestic bird and then this waterfowl that you're talking about? Is waterfowl a type of bird, or is that just kind of a phrase used for more wild birds?
Yes, so I refer to them as waterfowl.
Mhm.
What we're talking about is the migratory waterfowl
Uh,
that fly up and down from Canada to
mhm.
Central America and then back the other direction in the spring. And so those are what we're referring to as the water, or at least what I'm referring to as waterfowl. And then our domestic poultry as we define it, is going to be turkeys and chickens and captive birds, like other ducks and things like that. So primarily in Texas, we're talking about chickens.
Okay, so that's good to know the difference between waterfowl and birds as well. And what should someone do if they observe a bird, maybe their pet chicken, or maybe just a pet bird that they have, or a chicken on the farm that they feel is sick and they feel strongly that they might be infected with this bird flu? What should they do, and who should they contact?
Absolutely. So, the first thing you want to do is, certainly feel free to report that. You can contact your accredited veterinarian and have that conversation with them and see what type of diagnostics may be indicated based on what you're observing and what they see. But certainly, if you're experiencing some of those clinical signs or sudden death losses in upticks in your population there in your flock, you can reach out to the Animal Health Commission too and report that. We'll help work through the process to procure some samples and get those birds tested for not only high path avian influenza or avian influenza, but other diseases of concern like infectious laryngotracheitis that may be involved also.
Okay, and then for the people watching at home, what advice about the bird flu would you like to give them, or to just what lasting message would you like to give to the viewers who might be watching this?
Great question. So, a couple of things come to mind. Certainly, the first and foremost of those is this is it. From a food safety standpoint, is not an issue. Cooking eggs and poultry products to 165 degrees not only addresses other food pathogen concerns, but certainly will address any potential for avian influenza being in the product as well. So, certainly, from a food safety standpoint, there is no risk there. So the other thing that comes to mind, though, is really related to disease and biosecurity is the key. Certainly, there are a number of resources on the internet that such as a secure poultry supply. Templates and plans that help address biosecurity. And there's some things, so whether you're a commercial operator or down to just having a handful of birds, that will help guide you and protect your flock, mitigate the risk associated with high path or any of the avian influenzas. The last thing that comes to mind, in addition to the biosecurity, is the reporting. If you have a concern and think you might have an issue, please certainly feel free to reach out to us or contact your accredited veterinarian, and let's look into that and see what's going on.
All right, well, that's great to hear that it's not going to affect the eggs that I buy at the grocery store or anything like that, as long as, or even the chicken I buy, as long as we cook that to a proper temperature. I believe you said 165, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Lansford, so much for coming on the show and giving us all that great knowledge. I know that sometimes when these things break out, people can tend to panic and just not really know what to do, but at least they have the proper information, and I really appreciate you coming on the show and giving us that information.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tristan.
All right, thank you. You have a great one. All right, everyone. Well, there you have it. If you want to check out that interview, once again, you can go to YouTube, search up KTK, and then go to the playlist section, click on KTK Plus Originals, and you'll be able to find that full interview as well. And when we come back from the break, we are going to take a look at the Kilgore Bulldogs' road to the state championship, and we're going to preview their game that's going to be coming up here in just about an hour. So stick around and stay tuned in for that. We'll be back right after the break. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back from the break. We've officially hit the last leg of our show, but we still have a couple more stories ready to go for you all. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. Before the Kilgore Bulldogs kick off in Arlington to compete in the 4A Division I State Championship, the community held a send-off for the team on Thursday afternoon. The send-off began at 12:15 p.m. and fans gathered along the streets to support the Bulldogs as they begun their first trip to AT&T Stadium. The Bulldogs faced the Stephenville Yellow Jackets at 11 a.m. on Friday. They are currently 15-0 this season and will be looking to claim their 6th title in school history and first since 2021. This will be the 2nd year in a row that Kilgore has reached the championship game, and they are seeking their 2nd title in program history. The Bulldogs' last 4A title was in 2004. Well, good luck to the Kilgore Bulldogs, way to represent East Texas, and we will also be rooting for Carthage as well. Unfortunately, Jaquin was eliminated last night, but we love rooting for our East Texas teams and seeing them succeed and making a state championship is honestly super amazing. So great to see those East Texas teams doing that. And then for our next story, a highly trained veterinarian has returned to his hometown of Lubbock to help local pet owners receive care without driving far distances. KETK's Rachel Davis visited the clinic to find out more about his work. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Between Fort Worth and Albuquerque, that's us.
4 hours in one direction and 5 in the other. Dr. Kirk Sears, a board-certified veterinary internal medicine specialist, is one of only 3 full-time serving all of West Texas.
Nobody's ever been out here to provide specialty care for animals.
Sears trained across the country before returning to his hometown of Lubbock to fill that gap as a way to keep local pet owners from traveling hours for specialty care like aggressive cancer treatments and liver resections.
Whether it's medicine or surgery, to pet owners and their pets, without having to go to a big metroplex.
And the care is designed to work with your local vets right in your home office.
The veterinarians around here are some of the most capable and self-sufficient veterinarians that I've ever been around.
And Dr. Sears says that resilience comes from necessity, practicing high-level medicine in a region without access to specialists.
We basically meet pet owners and veterinarians where they are so that we can actually use their space and, like Kirk said, the comfort of the people they already know and trust.
The goal here is simple. When your pet needs serious help, these vets say you should be able to get that help no more than 15 minutes away.
They can get that care without having to, spend lots of days off from work and spend a lot of time and money traveling to metroplexes. We can keep them here in their own hospitals.
All right, well, there you have it. That was an absolutely great story, and great to see that veterinarian is helping those pet owners not have to drive so far in order to receive the care that they need for their pets. All right, y'all, that is all the stories that I have brought for you this morning, but I want to go ahead and just remind you of some shows that we have going on later on today. Here is going to be our shows for KETK and Fox 51 as well. We have East Texas, now known as East Texas Living, with David Gibson at 11 o'clock, and then also it's going to be at 7 p.m. over here on the KETK Plus app. And then for KETK News at 4 and 4:30, we're going to be having Rachel Davis and Tyler Henderson bringing you that great afternoon news. And then moving on into our later dates, we have Casey and Isaac, as always, bringing you that news at 5, and then Tyler Henderson with Fox 51 News at 5:30. And then we're going to have Casey and Isaac once again at 6. And then for our later shows, you can also see Casey and Isaac at 10, and then Tyler Henderson at 9 o'clock. So for those later shows. And then if you want to check out all the articles that were posted for the stories used in today's show, you can go ahead and scan that QR code on your screen. It'll bring you right to the KETK.com homepage, and you'll be able to check out all those articles as well. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching East Texas today on KETK Plus. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem. As always, it is such a pleasure to bring you all these amazing stories and to have this show every morning. I will see you all next time.